and hoping that we'll be able to record on Facebook Live. It's not cooperating with me. But for those of you who are watching on YouTube, we're going to find out if Mario Fabbri is still vegan. And here we go. So let's dance. And while we're dancing, I'm going to be working.
Gonna be eating pineapple while we dance.
Oh, yeah? You eating pineapple? Okay. Okay. Maybe you can introduce the show, Mario.
We are here with When You Need a Friend with Lillian McDermott.
Not yet.
The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott radio show, welcome. I just know that I have been waiting for you. It is my purpose and to provide alternative ways to heal. And it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friends, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, today we're in for a treat, although I'm a little distracted trying to get on Facebook Live. So for those of you who are waiting for us on Facebook Live, just know that we are going to be on pretty soon. You can go to @Lillian's Radio Show. And once that happens, I'll let you know. And Mario is gonna do that as well and go live as well. So here we are preparing to go live. And I think we are ready to go live now. So go to @Lillian's Radio Show and we'll be able to bring this to you. Oh, it says that we are Facebook Live. I don't know that for sure, but here we go. So today I want to let you know that I just want to make sure that I am, Ashley, I know you're listening, just make sure that I am on Facebook Live @Lillian's Radio Show. And if that's the case, then I can just stop worrying about the webinar. Okay, so for those of you who have been following my show, you know that I was challenged to go raw vegan probably a year into it. So I started the show in 2011 and 2012, around that time. I was challenged on my show and to go raw vegan for a month. Well, what happened to me was I accepted the challenge, and about 3 or 4 days later, I started feeling really, really good. But here's the thing, I didn't feel bad. So I did not know I could feel better. And so that is why I am so passionate about nutrition, because I thought, if I could feel this good with food, what else did they lie to me about? And so that is basically how I felt during this process of learning about nutrition. And I've had the best, you know that. But in comes this young man who is way, 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 way ahead of me when it comes to years of knowledge. And he was also challenged. And not only that, he's made this kind of like global. His name is Mario Fabbri, who is the son of a Italian sausage company, or a grandson, a son, and is part of the family. And so the reality is it resonated with him too. And so he started a series in Roku called Trying Vegan with Mario. And I found him, brought him on the show. He was talking about his experience. And so here's the deal. So Mario Fabbri, I think he's still vegan. So we need to continue the conversation because, you know, it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge. And I am grateful that Mario is here to do just that. Welcome back, Mario, to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show.
Yes, thank you so much for having me back on the Lillian McDermott Show. I love it here. This is a great place to talk and progress conversations forward. And I'm so excited to have been on here a couple months ago when I started my cooking show, Trying Vegan with Mario, and to be able to come back today with nearly a year of experience, having a vegan cooking show, learning from vegan experts that I invite into my kitchen, and having some incredible transformations in my life, in my body, in my attitude to share with you guys.
And you continue to do that. You continue to impress and learn and grow. And so as you're doing that, we're going to talk about these learning experience, but really quickly, can we dip our toe in the fact that some of the experience that you've had that have blown you away?
Yes, some of the experiences that have blown me away. First of all, I grew up with asthma and acid reflux, and I read and learned that perhaps eating a plant-based diet could relieve of some of that inflammation in my throat and in my chest, and that dairy and animal products could be a contributor. My asthma and acid reflux are gone. I'm not a scientist or a doctor, but I see a strong correlation there from everything I've read. I've also done little challenges and experiments. Like I tried drinking beet juice to increase the nitrates in my blood and increase oxygen flow throughout my body, and figure out what are some of the other secret things that these plant-based foods can be doing for our bodies. So I did a beet juice challenge, and all of a sudden I had so much more energy going to the gym. So that's another example. And then also, how can we make vegan food taste good? And I've had some incredible recipes, like a vegan nacho cheese sauce where the base is carrots and potatoes. So a combination of my health and delicious food is what it's taken to get me here.
Very good. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. That was just a little teaser. And we're going to continue our conversation worldwide with Mario Fabbri at whenyouneedafriend.com and at Lillian's radio show when we go live. I think I just started. We're trying to figure this out, but join us because we'll be right here waiting for you. Okay, here we go. Mario, I joined, I did there we go. It's preparing it. So accidentally, what I did was I went live on we're going live now on, we'll catch everybody up.
Okay.
So I accidentally went live, but it wasn't on my radio show page. It was on my personal page, and I did not want that. Because we don't want people going onto my personal page at this point. So here we go. And it looks like we are live now. So why don't you check? So for those of you who are watching us on Facebook Live, I apologize. I just want to make sure that we are on the proper channel. So make sure, there we are. I see you now, Mario. We are now live on the Lillian McDermott radio show. Now we can share to our friends. So for those of you who've been waiting for us, thank you so much for your patience. And we are I'm going to share. Where are you going to share?
Me, I'm going to share this on my Facebook, and we're going to spread this out as much as we can at Trying Vegan with Mario. Let's get as many people interested in plant-based food. If you have some experiences, feel free to chime in as well.
That's right. So who of you have been waiting for Mario? Look at his hair. Look at Mario. The first time Mario came on the show, his hair was really nice and tight, and like he looked like a nice young man. Now he looks like a man who has seen the wilderness and is like ready to take on the world. Seriously, our hair matches how we feel about ourselves, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
This says, I am ready to take on the world.
I am ready to take on the world. And also it's a whole relationship with just transformation and changing yourself. Something I've always wanted to do was see what I'd look like with crazy long hair. And as soon as I started a cooking show, I was like, this is probably the worst time for me to do this. And my producers and directors were like, no, we need to build a brand around who you are. And I was like, no, I want to do it. I want to have fun and see what I look like.
I think your hair right now, your hair needs to have its own show. How about that?
My hair needs
I love it.
There we go. I get compared to Bob Ross a lot. I'm not sure if
Didn't you go weren't you Bob Ross at one point?
Yes, I've dressed up as Bob Ross as well. So maybe we start the joy of vegan cooking as well.
That's right. That's where you go. So for those of you who are just tuning in, you're watching, you missed the whole introduction. But this is Mario Fabbri. You can find him at tryingveganwithmario.com or at Roku. He has his own show. And we're going to talk about why he is still promoting vegan. So here we go. Second segment has started.
5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott radio show, where we are actually live at Lillian's radio show on Facebook Live. So it's not the Lillian McDermott radio show at whenyouneedafriend.com if you want to stream the show, the audio portion. But if you want to see what's going on and off the air, you go to at Lillian's Radio Show on Facebook.com/Lillian's Radio Show. So today we're talking with Mario Fabbri. You know, you have, Mario, in a very short period of time, embraced this vegan. Now, how long has it been since, tell us about your background, because I just wanted us to dip the toe knowing that you are trying it. And
Yes.
so that was the whole purpose of it, you being curious to try something different and new. So with that in mind, when did your journey begin and how did it begin?
Yes. So my journey began a couple of years ago when I was producing and directing other people's cooking shows. So in the background, I'm a director, I'm a producer, filmer, editor. I've done it all. And I've been filming cooking shows for a long time. And during that process, I was eating incredibly unhealthy, not really focused on what I was putting into my body. But throughout that, one of my best friends and business partners lost 100 pounds, got in the best shape of his life, all by eating nutrient-dense plant-based foods. So I heard that story, then I started studying, reading. I picked up a book by Dr. Jill Furman called Fasting and Eating for Health. And that just put the science and the research behind a lot of what I saw from my friend. So it validated a lot of my curiosity. I was lucky at the time because I was blessed with a great metabolism, so a lot of my unhealthiness didn't show. But I started to learn that I'm probably not putting the best stuff into my body to live a long, fruitful, successful life. So at the time, I was producing a cooking show for fried mac and cheese balls and the best ways to cook steak. And I instantly felt an incredible detachment from the work that I was doing. And I believe that the meaning of life, a big part of it is finding purposeful, passionate work. How can you combine your greatest strengths and your passions and your skills to add value to everybody? At that time, I felt like I wasn't doing that. So I decided, how can we create a cooking show that was almost the antithesis of fried mac and cheese balls and the best ways to cook steak? And how can I take that journey that I was going through, learning about plant-based foods, and put it in a way that is a little bit more relatable to people? You know, instead of being a vegan chef of 10 years telling people that they should eat this vegan bacon when they haven't had bacon in 10 years, that didn't relate to me as much.
Yeah.
So I wanted to create a perspective where let's have somebody cook the vegan bacon. And I'm going to tell you guys from enjoying bacon not too long ago, does this taste, first of all, does this taste good? Second of all, what are the nutrition benefits from making this transition? And then what else can we do to get people excited about that? So that was really the theme of my show, was being a non-vegan, learning how to cook vegan, making this transition, and having somebody that you guys can live through it. And hopefully I ask the questions that you guys have about nutrient-dense plant-based.
Yeah, and we are, it's so funny. I'm way ahead of you in years, but we are like in the same parallel journey where we are curious about nutrition. We're curious about how food affects our body. And here's the thing, we have been taught to take a pill. And I grew up taking this pill if I had a headache, or a pill for asthma, a pill for the thyroid, a pill for this, a pill for that. But a pill really just gives us permission to continue living the lifestyle that we are, right?
Yeah, exactly. It just is going to mask some of the symptoms, and it's just going to make you feel comfortable eating more unhealthy and continuing on that journey. And through starting this show, actually, most recently, one of the most incredible conversations I had was with somebody who was about my age, mid-20s, who gained weight during college and was put on a medication to reduce their cholesterol. And they're about my age. I didn't even realize that this was happening so early for people. And granted, I'm not giving medical advice to anybody, but he saw an episode of my show. He saw an episode with Dr. Jill Furman, who talks very deeply about the how nutrition affects our health and disease in the long term. So this mid-20 person was like, I'm going to take my health into my own hands. My doctor's not giving me any of this advice. Trying vegan has planted some seeds for this. So he started eating nutrient-dense plant-based foods. And after 1 month of being on medication, his cholesterol didn't go down at all. The following month, he started eating a nutrient-dense plant-based diet, and his cholesterol has neutralized, gone back to normal, and he's off of his medication. And his doctor, his Western medicine doctor, is baffled by the whole thing, never even made the correlation, never even gave the advice. So the fact that I'm seeing these things in real time just adds more and more fuel to this fire of like, let's keep growing this. This makes so much sense. my dream one day is to be able to reach my dad, who owns an Italian sausage factory, and to be able to inspire him to eat nutrient dense. So I'm sold on a lot of the properties, but how can we continue to make this interesting for more people and continue to share these stories is really what I'm after.
Well, that's a very wonderful dream. And here you are, you've had asthma, your whole life? Because I've had asthma my whole life.
Yeah.
Okay.
My entire life. I had a little kid breathing from a machine for 30 minutes a day before I went to sleep, so I would stop coughing. Oh yeah.
Yep. And so I can relate to that. My first hospitalization with asthma was at 9 months. And so and that went on until I was 12. It went away. And then when I had my first child, it came back even worse than it was before. Now, they say that, disease is about 99% emotional. There's something emotional that's happening within us, and 1% inherited by the DNA. So 99% emotional, or has an emotional component to it, a trauma, something that's happened in our life. Now, whether I believe that or not, I'm not saying that that is 100% true, but it's what has resonated in the truth seeking that I have missioned the classroom that I'm in, the classroom that you're in right now, that we're both sharing. I tend to, with the research that I've done, seem to resonate with that. And it seems like, if we can check where it is, what's going on within us, what's happening. For me, being pregnant was stressful on my body. And so perhaps maybe that's why asthma returned. And so it wasn't, I was on major medication. I was on Xolair for 9 years. And it wasn't until I received an EOB, explanation of benefits, from my allergist. And it said chemotherapy, Mario. It said chemotherapy. And I got upset. I had already started the show, and I was already learning a little bit about nutrition. But when I saw chemotherapy, every hair stood up in my body, and I knew that was wrong. In comes Dr. Andrew Saul, and during a break, he said to me, Lily, I can help you get off your asthma medication. So when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? Just like you have been. So with me, it was vitamin C.
Oh.
Vitamin C. And now I'm doing a little bit of vitamin C and some lobelia. So if by chance you get exposed to an environmental allergen, lobelia is really good to help out too. So it's I can show it to you later on, but it's just some drops. You put it under, you mix it with water, you drink it, and the wheezing sensation goes away. So if you've been exposed, so those are the things that we've been told, that if you take this pill, which we've been conditioned, somehow everything's going to be okay. But with food alone, you already feel better. Now, what was it exactly? Do you think that it was that you weren't digesting meat as well? Or do you feel that adding more vegetables has helped with the more fiber? Which one do you think it was for you?
Well, you mentioned the vitamin C.
Yeah.
I've been consuming tons of vitamin C, so I have to say that a big part of it is introducing these nutrient-dense foods into my life, and then they both happen at the same time, and then I'm removing other foods. So I can't say necessarily I know how much of it is removing meat and how much of it is adding nutrient-dense foods.
Yeah.
But I will say both of them happen at the same time, and both of them are things that I've noticed in myself make a transformation. And then also what's so cool about my show is that I'm inviting guests at all times to learn about their experiences, because everybody's body is different. Everybody has a different experience, and everybody is going to figure out what works best for them. And
exactly.
I had this guy, he is Brian Turner, the vegan bodybuilder expert. This guy is 220 pounds. He is absolutely shredded. And we did a Where Do Vegans Get Their Protein episode. And something really interesting that I learned from his story was he actually had horrible acne his entire life. And he was drinking tons of whey protein before he was vegan, and drinking, eating so many animal products to eat as many calories as he can. And one transformation that happened for him was his acne actually went away as a part of his process of going vegan. So that was something where it was removing food, it was removing dairy, it was removing animal-based products, that he saw that noticeable difference. So I like to be able to share as many stories as I can, because I'm really just this curious explorer, learner on my show. So that's just one example of how removing those foods made an incredible difference for somebody's life. And for me, introducing vitamin C seems like it was probably a big part of why my asthma perhaps reduced itself. So it's removing things and it's introducing the right things.
Very good. Very good. Now, you mentioned at the beginning of the show, and then a part of what we discussed before was this beet juice challenge. We're not talking about the beet stuff that you find in cans or in packages. You're talking about the real beet from the whole food.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about that challenge.
Yes. So as a part of trying vegan with Mario, I'm trying as many interesting things that excite me about plant-based foods and giving you guys my feedback. And we could live through me, and then hopefully you guys try this out. One thing I tried out was this beet juice challenge. And again, it was introduced to me from Brian Turner, the bodybuilding vegan expert, who had mentioned through some research that he did and through some other bodybuilders that beets have nitrates, which increase the amount of oxygen flow that gets to your muscles and goes throughout your blood. So when that happens, it increases your energy levels when you're working out. So the whole challenge was drink beet juice within 30 minutes before you go to the gym for a week, and don't drink any pre-work, remove caffeine, remove anything else that could kind of disrupt the study and create a control, and see how does this beet juice affect your energy levels at the gym. And that was something that day one, drinking a cup of beet juice, organic, before going to the gym, I didn't expect to see anything. And then I started to notice a bigger pump, a bigger blood flow within my muscles and my arms and my veins and everything like that. In my head, I'm thinking this is just placebo effect. I'm just at the gym. So I kept it up for a week. And throughout that entire week, I noticed more energy and more blood flow than relatable to drinking an extreme pre-workout like I would have done, maybe 5 to 10 years ago, which I don't do anymore. But I was blown away to see these instantaneous results. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I committed to trying it for a week, but I'm still doing this because the impact was real. And now I have other people doing it because they watch my show, they follow me on social media, and they're engaging, and we're really just kind of experimenting and testing with our bodies, and other people are having similar results. So it just adds more and more reasons for me to just keep trying out these little vegan, plant-based things that should be, everyday practice. But I'm finding them and trying to integrate them into my life so you guys can as well.
Well, okay. So I'm very curious about this beet, because I know that there's a lot of people that feel that if they go vegan, that they're going to lose muscle mass. That's myth number, I don't know what number that is.
For me, it's number one. I hear it all the time.
Yeah. So so with that in mind, to get a cup of beet juice, how many beets did you need to juice?
So first of all, to simplify, you can buy beet juice already prepared at Whole Foods or something where they'll juice it for you. So that's actually what I've been doing. I don't have a juicer. I've been going to Whole Foods and having them juice it for me in the morning. So
you don't have a juicer?
I don't have a juicer.
Maybe we can do a show. We can get a juicer donated, and we can maybe get two, one for you and one for whoever is the lucky winner. So let's do that. Okay, so we're going to continue our conversation with Mario Fabbri when we return worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. Also at Lillian's radio show. Go to facebook.com. We'll be right here waiting for you.
Yes, we are here.
We are here waiting for you. Okay, so did you share it on your page?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
Can you double check for me? How does it look? Are we live on my Facebook?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm on my Facebook page. Okay. So hopefully you'll have your adoring fans checking you out, checking out the new do. But, so here's the thing with the beet juice, there's a lot of sugar.
Yep.
And I do want to talk about this. I just did an interview with, and by the way, for those of you who are watching, I do not know when you're watching unless you send us some love or you say where you're from, but just let us know where you're listening from. We had some people from Jordan, Montenegro, England that are tuning in to the show. It is so exciting. When we say worldwide, we really mean worldwide.
Yeah.
Yes. So with that, I just did a show with Robbie, oh gosh, his name just left my brain, but it's called Mastering Diabetes. Okay. And his handle is Mindful Diabetic Robbie. Okay. And he challenged me to do low fat, we're talking about 15% of my calories from fat.
Okay.
And I found out on that show that having an avocado a day and having coconut and all the stuff and walnuts and all the stuff that I was eating, because in my mind, protein, kibbles and bits. I need to get some protein. And so with that, I was consuming a lot of protein. And actually, no, a lot of fat.
Okay.
Let me redirect what I just said, a lot of fat. And when I asked him, I said, well, how much is 15%? How much an avocado can I have? And he said, a quarter a day.
Wow.
And I said, oh, wait. So he challenged me to go low fat and a whole food plant-based. And I did that. And I noticed the difference in some of the symptoms that I've been having. And I'm convicted for me that maybe I was consuming too much because I was so concerned about the protein that my fat intake was too high. Now, with vegans, we think, or the people who are whole food plant-based, that we can eat anything we want whenever we want because we're not having animal products. Yeah. Has that ever happened to you? Have you kind of looked at that ratio?
Yeah, well, that's something that I'm still figuring out because I've done the whole high protein thing. After I did that episode, I did go, I was eating 4,000 calories a day trying to bulk up. So I wasn't on so I'm not always necessarily finding the most nutrient dense lifelong way of living always on my show. I'm experimenting. I'm young. I'm figuring it out. And eventually I'll come to the conclusion of what I want to do for the rest of my life. But for the sake of this show, I do enjoy the experimentation of it. So I have tried very high fat. I've done the keto diet as well. I'm trying to get into everything in between. And I have found that in general, less fat, and ultimately going back to like the first book I read, Fasting Your Eating for Health, by Dr. Joel Fuhrman, and his Eat to Live book is ultimately where I feel my best, when I am not really cooking with any olive oil, when I am focused on getting my G-bombs in, that's when I feel at my best. So totally, I felt it. Eating too much fat slows me down. Eating too much protein or too many calories totally slows me down. But sometimes it is for me for the fun of experiment. How can I, try and gain 15 pounds on a plant-based diet because they said it couldn't be done, and I did it. So those types of experiments are fun.
Did you have to eat a lot?
I did. Yeah, I was eating a lot. Lots of beans. Lots of cans of beans.
Get lots of cans of beans. That did it for you? Okay. Because my husband has lost a lot of weight doing this, and he wants to bulk up. So maybe you can give some tips for him.
Show him that. We YouTube bodybuilder cheese fries. That is an incredible episode of recipe.
Bodybuilder cheese fries. For those of you who are watching on Facebook.com at Lillian's radio show or at Mario Trying Vegan with Mario, just let us know where you're from, where you're watching from, and if you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask them. Here we go. This is where I talk about my show, and then I'll reintroduce you.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott radio show, where we can be heard worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. I'm your host, Lillian McDermott, and it is my goal that we go through life with childlike wonder. Be curious about things instead of critical. It is so important that we give our body what it needs. Our bodies are constantly speaking to us. What is it saying to you? What is your body saying to me? What is your body saying to you? What is my body saying to me? And it is crucial that we listen. There's so much noise in the world. And when your body speaks to you, it's a symptom. And we take this symptom and we go to a doctor, and then all of a sudden, that symptom becomes a diagnosis. That diagnosis gives you permission to take a pill and then continue on ignoring your body. This is different. The show is different. This is about taking your health back and taking a stand for your body and saying, you know what, body? You really love me. You love me. And so how can I love you back? And the best way that we can love our body back is to give it exactly what it needs. We would never put sand in our gas tank and expect our car to run. So this isn't just a nutrition show. This is a show about life. There's no politics. There's no sports. There's life. And where can you be at an optimum level, whether it's in your career or your relationships or giving back into the world or your spirit, mind, and body? How can you give your body exactly what it needs? So I'm asking you to continue this conversation. If you haven't become a subscriber at whenyouneedafriend.com, please do so. When you subscribe, you get free gifts. You'll find out who's on the show. You'll get a weekly blog and with links. So if you are a subscriber, you know exactly how to get a hold of Mario because all the links are there and you'll know ahead of everybody else. You also get the show sent to you, the audio of the show. Sent to you, and you can listen to it at your discretion. But if you want to play around at whenyouneedafriend.com, there are little buttons and there's different ways that you can stay connected, whether it's at social media on Facebook. If you like me and follow me, then you know when we're doing Facebook Lives and you can be a part of the on and off the air conversation. And then there's also the YouTube button where you can click on YouTube, subscribe there, and the video of the show will get sent to your tablets or your email, wherever you get your email. And so you can watch that. It's valuable information. I know that it's a little confusing because this is also a radio show. So you can listen to us on the radio. You can watch us on YouTube or Facebook Live. So there's so many different ways to stay connected. So here's the thing I'm going to ask for you to do. I would like for you to check out my sponsors. Without my sponsors, there would be no show. And so check out what they're doing and how you can support them because they are supporting this free for you to learn. And of course, you can, if you don't like social media or if you don't like YouTube, you can also find me on podcast and you can leave a message, 407-373-5959. Also, you can message me on Facebook Live, ask any questions that you want via text or in the comment section at Lillian's radio show. So today we're talking to Mario Fabbri. You can find him at tryingveganwithmario.com. And you can find his journey. His journey is very similar to my journey is very similar to his journey, except you've been doing this for how long now, Mario? And thank you so much for waking up early to be on the show.
Yes, I'm out here in Colorado right now on a work explorative ski trip at the same time. Yeah. And I've been having my cooking show, Trying Vegan with Mario, it's been almost exactly 1 year since we filmed the first episode. So it's been a compact, condensed journey where I've had about 20 vegan expert chefs and nutritionists into my kitchen to teach me, a non-vegan, the benefits and some incredible recipes to help me transition to eating more nutrient-dense plant-based food and ultimately getting to good food and good health.
And I love how you said that, teaching me, a non-vegan, because I don't consider myself a vegan. You don't consider yourself a vegan, but we are whole food plant-based as much as we possibly can. And we learn that there are nutrients that the body needs that you need to give it, whether you're vegan or not. And so you can choose to do it through a pill form or you can choose to do it naturally. And so those are choices that you need to make, and no one should shame you or us into being a certain way. You know, and Mario, I want to get your opinion on this. You know, a pharmaceutical drug is a one size fits all, right? So you take this drug and apparently it's supposed to help everybody the same way, but the reality is we're all different. That's why there's so many different side effects. There's also environmental issues. There's emotional issues. There's also other pills that you're taking that might make that pill even more side effects in your life, right? But we tend to do that as well. And that's what I like about Nutritarian. We tend to do that as well with our eating. Like, I eat a paleo, or I eat, what is the other one? Keto, or I eat whatever. Everybody should eat this way. No, not necessarily so. Now, you've done the same thing I've done in the sense that you've tried different things for your body, and you were sharing that off the air. What has been the thing that's worked for you that you keep encouraging others, or maybe you want to learn more about?
Yes. So backing up to the whole pill solution type of thing. So first of all, that clearly is something that is not a one size fits all. It makes it just hand somebody a pill and make their life easier. And it's almost a lazy method, and you're not really fixing what's actually wrong. And something that's blown my mind too is I've been talking to more and more doctors and people who are actually going to medical school right now, who are in their early 20s, to see what are the types of things that they're learning. Are they learning about how nutrition from food can help your symptoms? And one of my friends, her name is Jillian Sommerfeld. She works for a place called DHA Labs, and they do.
I just interviewed them.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh my God.
I saw you did that. One of my good friends, her name's Jillian Sommerfeld. She works with DHA Labs. She helps a lot of people get blood work and blood testing, and I've gotten my blood work done, and I've been tested to see am I nutrient deficient based on what some people are saying? Because I'm trying to see both ends of the spectrum. Some people say you eat plant-based food and you're going to be nutrient deficient. And my levels were all inside of a great range through testing myself. And one thing that I've learned is how food can affect that. You know, how eating certain types of mushrooms might have more vitamin D. And that's a way that I could get vitamin D, because they say it's hard for plant-based eaters to get vitamin D. Obviously, you could get it from the sun, but I'm learning what types of foods have those things. And that's something that I've been able to learn a lot from DHA and Jillian is how different types of nutrition affect our brain, that whereas somebody going to medical school might say, oh, you're feeling depressed, oh, you're feeling sad, let's give you this pill. Whereas perhaps there's some link between serotonin uptake and you not getting enough potassium, or how different types of nutrition affect the chemicals and the levels in your brain, which also affect your emotions. So I was amazed that when I would talk to these medical students, they wouldn't even understand that relationship between nutrition and our chemicals in our brain. I had a conversation with somebody who was maybe 21 years old, super intelligent, but just learning from the things that he was being taught. And when I started talking about potassium and how it affects the reuptake of serotonin in your brain, he had no idea what I was talking about. As soon as I mentioned not having enough serotonin, his first thought was, what pill can I give this person? And he started reciting a list of pills. And he's in his early 20s. He hasn't even been given a chance to explore this for himself. He's given a textbook that basically has, this is your problem, and then an arrow to like 6 different pills that are funded by this book that can help that solution. So that was one thing that was mind-blowing to me. And something I've learned is that through making myself feel incredible, food is the way in so many different ways. To the people I've talked to on my show, food is the way, but there is this misconnection between the pharmaceutical and the medical industry right now, and probably for as long as, you know, you can remember, as long as you've been doing this. I'm new, but I'm like, holy cow, how is this 20-something-year-old who's supposed to be our next level of doctors not learning even a thing about food? So that's a big part of the reason I'm on this mission. I want to learn about food. I've been eating basically the nutritarian diet from Dr. Joel Fuhrman, and I feel the best ever. You know, it's early out here. My energy is like always on 100. So that's what.
You have your beet juice today?
Yes.
I always say that with Dr. Fuhrman. Hey, have you had your G-bombs today? And then with you, it's like, have you had your beet juice? Are you still Are you still doing that? Because I'm concerned about the sugar.
Yes. So that is a good question. And I'm sure I am consuming a lot of sugar. But
it's not processed.
Else I need to look at. It's not processed sugar. It's different. I'm making sure I'm not consuming a lot of sugar elsewhere. So if I am drinking beet juice in the morning, I'm not also having a smoothie that day. So I'm finding the balance within me. But I will tell you, when I drink beet juice and then I go to the gym, I am like on point. Like, please, somebody else, go out there and try it. Message me, try and vegan with Mario, or let Lillian know. Like, if you drink beet juice before the gym and it had a difference in your workout, I'd love to hear it, because it's changed.
I'm going to try that. How many? So you're not juicing it yourself. You're buying it from Whole Foods and getting it like fresh from Whole Foods.
Yes, fresh from Whole Foods. Yes.
Yeah, you need to count how many beets they use for your cup.
Okay, I will.
Okay. So with that in mind, off the air, I'd like to talk about how others who are losing weight, because there's a lot of people who are releasing, there's times where you want to release weight and like you don't want to find it back, but there are times you want to lose, that when you lose weight, you want to find it back. Maybe people have found that they're losing a little bit too much because now their body is just like going, yay, thank you. And we're going to continue our conversation when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. Join us live on facebook.com/Lillian's radio show. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay. So Mario went, and so Lucia, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for loving us both. We love you back. And I'll let Mario know when he comes back. Lucia, where are you from? I can't remember. And for those of you who are watching today, let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to learn more. And so today we're talking with Mario Fabbri. I also want to talk to you about my off the air. Look at him. He's like the little Pink Panther back there. So what I want to talk to you now are my sponsors, my off the air sponsors. And I would love for you to consider going to First Alternative Care. First Alternative, Mario, listen to this. How much would you pay for 24-7 telemedicine? So you can use it at any time at no extra cost. So family practice, dermatology, and 3 hours a year of behavioral health or mental health counseling. How much would you pay for that per household?
A couple $1,000s
A month?
How
much do you think?
I'm going to say like $350 to $600 a month.
How about if I said $35 per household?
Wow. 10% of my guess.
Yes. And so a good guess, but wrong. But for $35 a month, you can go to whenyounneedafriend.com, click on the icon. It's the First Alternative Care. For $35 a month, it'll save you time and money. Going to the emergency room, if you have any, I had some flashes in my eyes, and it turned out I called First Alternative Care, and they said, you have, it sounds like you have symptoms of a detached retina. And I didn't go to the emergency room. It wasn't a stroke. It was, I waited until Monday, and I went to an ophthalmologist, and it was in fact a torn, it was like a little bit detached, and they were able to fix it, and everything is okay. But for $35 a month per household, so if you're a student, like if you have lived with a lot of friends, everybody can share on that expense. So as long as you live in that household. So that's the one. Go to whenyounneedafriend.com, click on the First Alternative Care. And the other one is Keep Me Safe Organics. Keep Me Safe Organics is no synthetics, all organic, very healthy makeup without any toxicity, cleansers, makeup, soaps. I've completely changed that. So we're constantly bombarding ourselves with chemicals. And Mario, I don't know if you've done any shows on that, but and even though you don't wear makeup, the cleansers are incredible. The soaps are incredible. No chemicals whatsoever, non-synthetic, all organic, all natural. And then the last thing is, if you lived in the Brevard County area in Merritt Island, my favorite pharmacist is Ross, and go to the pharmacy in Merritt Island off of Courtney. So what did you go get? Oh, your charger.
Yes.
You look like the Pink Panther walking behind the.
I was trying to.
It's beautiful there behind you. I love that window.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
It is. How long are you there for?
I leave on tomorrow.
Live on Saturday tomorrow.
I'm here for 2 weeks. Colorado is a place that I found that is an incredible hub for plant-based companies and health and nutrition. It's one of the Boulder, Colorado is one of the healthiest cities in the entire country. So I love coming here for all those reasons and connect with people.
Very nice. Very nice. Also, I want to let you know that Lucia is watching on Facebook.com, and she says that she loves us both. So I wanted to pass that on.
Thank you, Lucia.
5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott radio show, where we always learn from one another. And today's teacher is Mario Fabbri, who is always trying vegan. Now, a lot of people don't understand I love the concept of trying vegan with Mario.
Yeah.
Mario, you have said to me that you are not vegan, but you are trying to go that route. And that's why, do you think you'll ever go that route, or are you happy with where you're at today?
I think that at some point, naturally, I will be 100% vegan. But I will say I've removed the degree of stress and pressure there is to find vegan options when it's a struggle to find. I certainly am reaching and asking at restaurants and friends and family to encourage the conversation. But for holidays and special occasions and certain instances where it's harder to have access to it, I've tried to remove that strong attachment and realize that this isn't going to be the end. I'm doing a lot. I'm making a lot of progress. And I don't feel as comfortable fully defining myself by that. But in general, I will say I shop 100% nutrient dense, plant-based, organic, vegan food. And that's how I cook. That's how I eat. That's how I serve people. But there are occasions where I feel like remove some of that stress, remove some of that pressure from yourself. And it's worked for me where on holidays, I might break that with friends and family. But in general, I'd say that this is the way that I like to eat.
I
This
love
is
it.
used
I
to
love
eat.
it. Yeah, it's adding that balance in your life and figuring out what works for you. And so trying it means that you're increasing a more whole food plant-based and decreasing the animal products in your life. So
Yep.
with the decreasing, because a lot of the standard American diet, it's based on processed foods and high animal products. So they might be eating 50%, for example,
Yep.
or maybe in some cases 100%. A green vegetable is not something they even want to look at. Maybe they'll have corn, or maybe they'll have peas, which aren't really high in fiber that will help. But that's their idea of vegetables. And so with that in mind, in reducing, how much reduction have you done, and how has that given you, what is your perspective now on animal farming?
Yeah, that's a great question. So to tell the little backstory again, I used to work in my dad's Italian sausage factory. My grandpa, with the same name as me, Mario Fabbri, started an Italian sausage factory. So I grew up eating meatballs right off the manufacturing plant, stuffing sausage, filling boxes, and seeing a bunch of animal carcasses and all of that. And those were things that I never had a negative relationship to. It was totally common practice for me. Whereas for somebody else, they might walk into a farm and see how they manufacture this, and it would make them queasy, and then they'd instantly decide to go vegan on the spot. I hear that from a lot of people. So I didn't necessarily have that perspective or that relationship towards animals, but that has been something that's been very surprisingly changing for me through all of this, through seeing some of these documentaries, through seeing some of these conditions, through hearing about the lack of regulation and control on disease and the amount of pus that gets into our milk and the amount of hormones that are injected into these animals. First of all, that is treacherous. But then second of all, I've had chances to spend time with cows and pigs with a different relationship since then. And I mean, in a lot of ways, they're just dogs that were put into farming. They'll respond to fetching. You could teach them different types of commands and everything like that. And I look at that and I'm like, this is not fair the way that I'm looking at life if I treat one domesticated animal differently than I do all of these others.
Yeah.
How can I show so much respect for dogs and cats and love animals in that way, but feel totally comfortable with a female cow giving birth and then instantly be taken and putting into a crate that they could barely fit inside of, so they can instantly start getting milked for the rest of their life and then impregnated and then have that happen over again. How could I be spending my money and supporting things like that when I have this newfound love and appreciation for animals, and now I see all other animals as, kind of things that, fun and playful like you would a dog. So that's been a very interesting shift for me. So now I have no interest in supporting that type of an industry with my money. So it's just crazy how things can go full circle. For some people, it's about health. For some people, it's the environment. For some people, it is for animal cruelty. And eventually, it becomes about all three for most people. Once you start getting interested in eating plant-based food, you start to be exposed to a whole different level of, I want to even say, compassion for the environment and the people around you, which has been very interesting for me, which I love. And I feel like it's definitely added a new level of compassion to my life.
That's wonderful. And what a great, because to me, it wasn't about animal cruelty. I grew up the same way, in a Spanish family. My father would buy a half a cow and he'd put the parts in a freezer, in a deep freezer. And every weekend we'd have T-bone steaks. But what I did not know is that my body didn't process meat. And once in a while I'd be rushed to the emergency room because my body just didn't process it. But we didn't know it was that. That we didn't know. We just thought that they called it gastritis, which meant that my body was not producing enough acid to digest whatever the food was. But we weren't thinking that there was any problem with the food I was eating. Obviously, I needed a pill. That's what I needed to get better, and I did. And all these years of whether it was Nexium or Prilosec or Tums or all that, I don't take any of that anymore. I don't need any of that. And it takes a little bit. And for people that are listening, for people that aren't my listening friends, so you're just new, you're a new friend that have just stumbled upon the show today, and you're hearing me say that, it might just be so foreign. I mean, did you ever hear people like us in the past and go, man, they're whacks, right?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I would look at somebody who'd be talking about vegan and plant-based food and think it was in a crazy extreme and that there was no real place for it in the food economy, and that everything could be trusted and supported. And why would all these big companies not be looking out for me? And why would I be a part of a world that didn't have everybody's health and compassion in mind? You just kind of assume the best. We start naive, we start being positive. I think that's a great place to start from. But then once you start to learn, you start to see things. One of the most eye-opening things for me that made me question the food industry was when I was learning about labeling and the FDA. So for example, if you look at a nutrition label and you see that it has calories, fat, carbohydrates, it has the amount, and then next to that, it has the daily percent value. Mm-hmm. Well, if you look at sugar labeling, it'll say the grams of sugar, but it won't say the percent daily value of sugar that correlates to. And what I had learned was that back in the 50s, when they first put out those labels with the percent daily value of sugar, when they started releasing the first Coca-Colas, the Coca-Cola would say, 70 grams of sugar, this is 500% your daily value. And then Coca-Cola was lobbying in the food industry, and they said, we're going to take our money out unless you remove the percent daily value of sugar. And that's what happened. And that's why today you don't see a percent daily value for sugar on your nutrition labels. So once I learned something like that, it just made me question almost everything.
What else is out there, right?
Yeah. What else is out there? What else can be manipulated by money? What else can be, blinding us so that a big company can make a profit? So that's when my perspective shifted from, oh yeah, we were born into this world that's going to take care of us and be on our side, to realizing that some people are in it for themselves, some people are in it for money, and that's going to compromise my health. So I need to do my own research. I need to figure this out for myself. And I need to start this cooking show where I can do it on a bigger scale and help as many people as I can. Because I'm a firm believer that the best way to live is to figure out what you're passionate about, what you're skilled at, and then figure out a way to share it with as many people as possible. And that's what hopefully I'm able to do on this cooking show through the things that I've seen and learned so far.
Well done. Well done. And I know that you're also getting into essential oils and using that to heal your body too. And so that could be a totally different show, right? Is there anything that you would like to encourage my listening and viewing friends that are watching today to maybe go with the curiosity of trying something new, trying vegan, trying whole food? What would you like to say?
Yes. So I think it's really fun and exciting to kind of gamify things and really dive deep. So one thing I'm doing right now is I'm baking sweet potatoes in as many different crazy creative ways that I can, and also just bringing it out to the most simplistic form. So right now I'm doing my own little sweet potato challenge. So I'd encourage you guys, go out, get a sweet potato, throw it in the oven on 400 degrees for 45 minutes, and then just eat that. And it's incredible. It's super easy ways to eat healthy.
Very good. Very good. We're going to continue this conversation off the air at Lillian's radio show. But for now, Mario, thank you so much for just being an energy to the world that brings light and revelation. So thank you so much. And to you, my listening friends, just please know we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Okay. So look, we've got Dr. Freeman, David Freeman. Welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope that you're doing well. I don't know if you know David Freeman, but he is an incredible guy.
Cool.
Yes. And so thank you so much for watching today, David and Lucia. And for those of you who are all there, come out. If you have any questions for Mario, I don't know how much time you have left, Mario, but I wanted to ask you about your test results. Is there anything that you'd like to reveal that was, if not, that's fine too. I revealed on my show that I had low zinc.
Yeah, I was actually on the lower end of vitamin B12, which was one of those things that people told me I should be concerned about when eating more plant-based food.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't figured out exactly where I want to get my B12 from, because I know nutritional yeast is oftentimes fortified with B12.
But it's folic.
Okay, yes. So that's where I need to do a little bit more research. This is kind of new and hot for me. So the doctor said you're at the lower end of this spectrum, but you're still within range. So it's not an emergency or anything like that. So I haven't necessarily gone full in on that, but I don't know if you've heard from people on your show, good places to get supplementation or vitamins, but that's something that I need to figure out next.
So I was working with a guy that asked me to go on desiccated liver.
Okay.
So I bought desiccated liver, which is just freeze dried.
Okay.
And I would take a pill, one of those tablets on a daily basis. And another thing that I've done is I found out that I have the MTHFR gene. So I completely, because what happens to me if I take any Bs, and I don't know if you had if you talked to Dr. Mensah or who you spoke to, who's your coach?
Yeah.
With the DHA, who did you speak with? Dr. Mensah?
No, Jillian Sommerfeld.
Oh, so Jillian works for them, and she works for Dr. Mensah?
Yeah.
Oh, what a small world.
She works with them and helps facilitate and sell some of the testing as well.
Oh, okay. So when I was speaking with him, he told me that there was a couple of things that was really good for me to learn. And we gave away some testing, and we're going to be doing another show with some results. But what I was told is that I have, this was before doing this testing, that I have the MTHFR gene from both sides of my parents. So it's like the worst case scenario, but again, DNA can be manipulated. It could be turned on, it could be turned off. So I switched my vitamins, and I was telling Dr. Mensah that when I take vitamin B, I couldn't sleep.
Oh.
And sleep is so important.
Yeah.
And so I could only take, I'd be tired, and then I'd take vitamin B, but I wouldn't be able to sleep. And then after a while, I just stopped taking vitamin B. And so I switched to a methylated vitamin B, like a B complex.
Okay.
That seems to be really good. And now this is me. I'm not giving any advice.
Yep.
But what's happened to me, I used to get palpitations, and my palpitations went away.
Okay.
So that's just me. And I can share off the air what I'm using, but that was the methyl, it's a coenzyme or something like that. I forget the name that it's called, but that's what I started using. And I take one pill in the morning, take one pill at night, and I'm sleeping well. It has not, but what happened was that my body just didn't release it.
Mm-hmm.
It would store it.
Okay.
And it would release it at the dangest times, like 3:00 in the morning, where I couldn't sleep. I didn't want that. And then, so probably the biggest thing that they discovered was zinc deficiency. And
Okay.
so I have shared this on the show that I felt like my hair had been thinning. I used to have all this, yes.
Your hair like me?
Yeah. Oh yeah. My hair was like yours. Man, I wish I had something like that. If I would have known this, I would have prepared. I would have put on my little cap or something. We could have been twinsies. But anyway, but doing the changing the zinc, there was another thing that I changed, and fat.
Okay.
Decreasing my fat.
Okay.
That has helped for my hair falling out.
Really?
And zinc. Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting.
Yes.
Did anybody guide you to that attempt, or why'd you even consider less fat?
Well, when I did the show with Robbie from Mastering Diabetes, he challenged me.
Okay.
And I immediately saw a difference in my gastric system. Okay. And I saw a difference in my hair. And I'm thinking, okay, well, with me, I may, because I'm thinking, and Mario, I don't know if this has happened to you, we're thinking protein. Yeah. And along with a lot of the proteins, there's a lot of fat with the avocado. And I'm thinking, I can have 10 avocados if I want. I'm not having animal products, right?
Yeah.
Although I've never had 10 avocados in a day, that was my mentality, protein. I needed to have protein. And one piece of meat doesn't equate one avocado. Well, when it comes to fat, fat is fat, is what they were saying, that I need to take it from 15% of my fat should come from my calories, just 15%. Well, that was a challenge. And I took a picture of everything I ate. That was a challenge. But I saw some incredible changes.
Wow.
So
that's what it takes. Once you see it, you believe it.
yeah. And so with the B12, I want to caution you with the folic.
Okay.
Folic is synthetic vitamin B.
Okay.
And so you're getting Bs, but another thing that I was told to use, and which is the DHA and the EPA, is the omega-3s. So there's just so many different things that are out there. I'm curious, once you figure out what's good for you, for your Bs, the B12 in particular, and they say that you want to go sublingual. You don't want to do, pills that you swallow whole. You want to chew them. So I'm curious to find out what your journey. And David, if you're watching, David, what should Mario do? Share your opinion, or any of you who are watching, share your opinion as far as B12, especially when going vegan. But you're not 100% vegan, so I'm surprised that your B12 is low. I wonder if there's something else going on.
That could have easily been during one of those phases where I totally was on that end. Because like I said, the only time I'm not really 100% vegan is during a holiday or during some type of circumstance that I can't control. So for the sake of our conversation and what I actually am putting in my body, on the average week, I'm 99.9% vegan.
And
with random.
Yeah. But, full disclosure, whenever you have like that 0.9, you're not considered vegan. And so that's why we say we're not vegan, we're whole food, plant-based. And I say I'm nutritarian. And again, with that in mind, one size does not fit all. So when you got your results from DHA Labs, did they tell you that you were eating the right way for your body?
So I'm still getting results. I'm going to talk to more doctors to figure out exactly what I should be eating for my body. Because I have learned that like O blood type, which is what I am, for example,
you're my husband,
more animal-based products. So, or certain different types of nutrition. So that's still something that I'm literally in the middle of figuring out. So we got to do like an update in a month from now when I have it all dialed in.
Very good. Very good. I'm glad that you're doing that, because that's how our body speaks to us, right?
Yeah, exactly. We speak through how we feel and how we react to things and what our energy levels are. And I'm very intuitive and very energy based. So I could kind of feel and understand what's good for me, but I also do want to understand it from a scientific level to see what things I could actually be calculating and be able to create a stream of research for my own life that is easily replicated and easily shared with people to see their reaction to it as well. Because one of the first things I learned from you when I came on your show the first time was how important it is to research. So I'm ever since we had that conversation, I've been extra careful not to say things that I haven't either experienced myself or somebody on my show has more evidence and research that I could refer people to instead of just regurgitating other people's research.
We're not the experts.
Exactly.
That's right. We're not the experts, and people, our followers, our viewers, we're also very responsible, because there's a lot of people. I don't know if you've seen, and I don't want to use names, but there was this young man that just ate avocados and bananas. That's all he did. And just recently, I've been looking at someone had told me that he's no longer a fruitarian. And I checked out his video, and he was eating like these nacho Dorito, fettuccine Alfredo. And he was just like eating all this junk food. And I'm thinking, and he's got a great following, but I'm thinking he's leading people astray.
Yeah.
And we need to be careful not to lead people astray. That's why I say, Mario, this has become my truth, because I've researched it. And so I want and encourage people that are watching today or later on, that I want them to do their own research so it becomes their truth, not my truth that they're like hanging on to. Because isn't that what we do all the time? We hear this person always got the greatest fad diet, and everybody follows this person like a guru without doing the research. And next thing you know, people are having heart attacks, people are falling and bumping their heads because there's not enough nutrients in their body. What would you like to add to that?
Well, on that whole note of experiencing your own truth, one thing that I experienced, just being somebody who's ambitious about learning and very excited about it, I found that I read every single book I could have read right when I got into this thing. And at first, I was learning a ton and understanding the foundational elements of being healthy, but the only way to actually know how these things are is to experience them for yourselves. I've actually stopped reading as many books as I used to because I found that it was kind of corrupting my own human experience. I'd be reciting information that I learned that was supposed to be the truth based on somebody else's experience, but
Good.
What we have to do is go out there and do it. As many people could tell me that if you drink beet juice, it has nitrates and it'll increase the blood flow to your oxygen, but you got to experience it for yourself to see how that actually feels. And before you ever talk about those things, you gotta take a try at it.
Yeah. But I want to ask you something about that. I wrote it down and I wanted to ask you about this. I'm glad you mentioned it again. But nitrates, we have found that nitrates in meats, there's like, if you want a deli, if you want to eat meats,
they add nitrates to meat.
They add nitrates, and that's bad. Nitrates cause cancer.
Yes.
So why is nitrate in beets good? So I'll have to research that.
Yeah.
Did you research that?
I actually just heard a commercial on the radio that reminded me that nitrates are being put into meat in that way. So that's kind of the next phase.
Interesting. So maybe we can do a show like that. Maybe we can do a show like, are all nitrates created equal? Why are the nitrates in beets? And again, I'm not an expert, and that's why we bring the experts on the show, or we bring people who are in the same journey or thriving from their journey. So when you said that out loud, I'm like, I wrote it down. I need to research this because if nitrates are good in beets, and I'm not saying that they aren't.
No.
But I wonder,
because a lot of times you'll look at a processed food packaging and it'll say no nitrates, and you add nitrates to help the growth, and it is a hormone. So that's very interesting.
Yeah. So until now, when did you hear? Because the World Health Organization called, like sausage and bacon and all these processed deli foods, a number one carcinogen. It's a carcinogen.
Yeah.
And so if nitrates in food are bad, the animal proteins, I wonder why they're good with fruits and vegetables. And maybe it is that they're adding nitrates versus natural nitrate. I don't know. So to be continued, right?
Continued, yes.
To be continued. Mario, thank you so much for being on the show. And I want to encourage everybody who has been listening to Mario to check him out. You can find him in Roku. And if you live in the, New York area? Is that where you said that they can find you at Channel 1?
Yeah, Channel 1 Optimum, Wednesday mornings, Trying Vegan with Mario, 30-minute episodes. Every episode is me talking through a type of nutrient-dense plant-based eating that I'm excited to learn about, and then I bring in an expert, either vegan, chef, nutritionist, somebody who's had a unique experience eating plant-based, and we end up cooking together, and I learn as much as I can about their experience as well. So it's the cooking version of your show in a lot of ways.
Yeah. It's amazing what we can discover with food. We can discover when we're open. And like for me was, wow, if food can make me feel this good, what else is out there? And we're going to do a fast with Dr. Michael Clapper. We're trying to finalize the date with him right now. But I have a group that's reached out, and they're giving away a reverse osmosis over the counter without any. It's a zero installation water purifier, basically, and it's called Zip, and we're going to be giving those away for this water fast. And fluoride, I've been learning about fluoride in the water, and that could also cause acne. So so much out there we don't know, Mario. And I'm so glad we're going on this journey together.
I mean, we got to keep learning, keep doing what you do.
Yeah, well, you keep doing what you're doing. But thank you so much. And for those of you like this, share it, share it with your friends, help us grow our shows, not just my show, our shows, so that we can, for every show like ours, there are 30, 40,000 shows that say, take a pill, take a pill, take a pill.
Yeah. Yeah.
That we take responsibility in every aspect of our life. And Mario, it just warms my heart to see your youth and your wisdom combine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Until the next conversation, I'm going to stop the stream, and then I will stop my YouTube. So here we go. Stop the recording.